This is what we're making. It's a picture frame setting for an irregular stone, and with a balled claw so that it goes around and captures it from either side. With the bail. We're going to make a setting to hold an irregularly shaped stone. And what we're going to do is a perimeter with a claw setting that goes on either side, so it ends up holding the stone like this. So just take 1 millimeter thick metal, use a texture sharpie permanent marker, trace around the stone, and when you've gone all the way around the stone, I haven't, but go all the way around the stone, drill a hole in the middle, pierce out the inside to that line. Just a punch mark and drill with a 1 millimeter drill bit. A little bit of burr wax on your drill or beeswax. Just rest the drill in the depression. Undo one end of your saw. I'll back this out. Thread your blade through that hole. And just saw just inside the line all the way around. When you get to the end, loosen your blade, take the metal off. Now, because this is an irregularly shaped stone, what you're going to need to do is index it to make sure that it goes back in the same spot every time. Now this one on mine has a mark that goes across. So I just take a texture, put a little mark on the metal that matches that imperfection. You could just as easily put a texture mark on the stone, because when you're finished, a little bit of metho on a tissue will take that mark off. So now you're at the point where this needs to slip through. And I can see that mine's got a little bit on the corner that needs to be taken out, because this is going to just go around the stone. Yeah. Now, make sure it fits over the stone. Tidy up this inside bit with file and then sandpaper, probably on a split mandrel. And then we'll mark it for our claws. Now, when our base slips over the stone quite easily, mark where you want your claws to be. And on this one, I'm going to use 6, because this is spaced a bit like a triangle. I'm going to put the claws here on either side of the point. Now, take your punch and leave about 1.5 millimeters away from the edge. Now what you can do is you can set your dividers at 1.5 dividers. You can set your calipers at 1.5. And you can hook one edge on the metal and put a scratch mark where you want your claw to be, and that gives you the exact distance away for all of them, so it's not just a guess. I'm just dragging this on it and it's making a nice little scratch. So now take your punch, and at each mark where you put a dot for your claw and you got your scratch mark, put a punch mark, and then you're going to go around and drill a 1 millimeter hole in every one of those spots. We've got all the holes drilled for our claws. Now set your calipers at 2.5, hook it on the inside, and scribe a line around the outside. You could use dividers for this if you want. Now this is our line to cut to on the outside. Leave a tab on the top so that we can drill it for a pinch bail. I would say a 3 millimeter round spot right at the top. So go to your scribe mark, add another little 3 millimeter bump on there, drill a hole, a 1 millimeter hole in the middle of that, then pierce out this outside line. That means saw it. Once you've cut out your picture frame and you have a reasonably same width all the way around, file it, number 2 cut flat hand file on the outside, sand it 400 grade paper everywhere, and then we'll put our claws in. I just brace mine on the bench peg, use the flat hand file to go around the curves on the outside, and you should be able to see your saw marks disappear quite quickly. Then after all of the saw marks are gone, sandpaper. An option, because this is going to be completely visible outside our stone, is if you wanted, you could put a texture on it. But you have to put the texture on before you solder your claws in. Now we need to know the length to cut our claws, because they're going to go all the way through, and we want to be able to hold the stone in the center. So we'll just take our vernier calipers and we use the depth setting. So 0 them, open them right up, set the point on your bench, and then run the edge, the bottom edge of your calipers down and touch the stone. So this is 11.27 millimeters. Just in case you missed it, 0, open them right up so that this bit's sticking out the bottom. Then push the outer housing down, and the edge wants to touch the stone. This bottom edge of your calipers wants to touch the stone. Now, with the calipers, these 3 measurements are exactly the same: outside, inside, and depth. And we're just using the depth today. So I'm going to cut these 11.5, and on mine I've got 6 different prongs. So 6 pieces, 11.5 mil long. The easy way to cut multiple lengths of wire exactly the same length is to use your what they call a chenille cutter. It's actually a chenille holder. And what you do is you set the measurement, put your wire in, run it against the outside bit of the block, cut in this little slot here where my fingernail is, and that will give you all of your wire exactly the same size. So you just brace this against your bench peg, saw, and they'll all be that length.